Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something that'll change your life if you let it sink in. Never react when someone hurts you. Mean it. Don't clap back. Don't scream. Don't even roll your eyes. Just breathe. Because in that moment, when they try to break you, when they throw that dirt on your name, when they test your peace, they're looking for a reaction. And when you give it, you just handed him power they didn't earn. Let me tell y'all something real straight. When somebody hurts you and you react out of anger, out of pain, out of ego, you just gave them exactly what they came for. You handed them the keys to your peace, like, here you go, do what you want with my emotions. See, people who try to hurt you, they ain't looking for truth. They looking for a reaction. They don't care if what they say is right or wrong. They just want to know they got under your skin. And when you fire back, when you let that heat rise up and take control of your mouth or your hands or your tone, they already won. That's the trap. And most folks don't even realize they walking right into it. You got to understand something deep here. The moment you react emotionally to someone trying to break you, you become a puppet. They pulling the strings and you dancing. And that's a dangerous place to live from, because when you let people control your mood, your peace, your vibe, you ain't living for you anymore. You living for them. Your energy becomes a response to their mess, their chaos, their smallness. And baby, that's not who you were made to be. You were made to operate from a higher space, a space of self-worth, a space of divine control. But when you react, you drop down. You step out of that light, even if just for a second, and you end up playing on their level. And trust me, that level is crowded with folks who don't love themselves enough to lift others up, so they spend their time throwing shade and drama just to feel tall. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you standing in a white suit, fresh, sharp, clean, and someone's throwing mud at you. Now, you could throw it back. You could pick it up and say, oh, you want to play? Let's go. But guess what? Now both of y'all dirty. Nobody looking clean anymore. That person, they wanted you to mess your suit up. That was the goal. And when you react, when you sling that mud back, you gave them a win. But if you stand there, wipe off what you need to, and keep walking, you just showed them that your dignity is stronger than their mess. Now, I ain't saying you got to be a doormat. This ain't about letting folks run over you. No, sir, no, ma'am. This is about discipline. This is about knowing that every battle ain't worth your energy. This is about making a choice. Do I let this mess pull me down, or do I stay focused on the blessings ahead of me? And baby, blessings don't live in the pit. They don't live in arguments and petty responses. And let me set the record straight post. Now, blessings live in silence. They live in maturity. They live in that space where you say, I'm not going to let nobody interrupt my destiny. You ever notice that people who are really doing something with their life don't have time to react to every little thing? That's not an accident. That's wisdom. That's peace. That's purpose. And I'm telling you today, you got to protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. And you got to stop letting folks rent space in your head for free, especially the ones who ain't building nothing with you, especially the ones who ain't praying for you, supporting you, or growing with you. You get to choose how you show up. You get to decide if that hurt turns you bitter or makes you better. And I'm telling you, if you keep reacting, if you keep letting folks pull you into storms you don't belong in, you'll stay tired, you'll stay distracted, and worst of all, you'll stay stuck. Don't give your energy to folks who don't deserve it. Don't let one moment of pain become a lifetime of regret. Let them talk. Let them throw shade. Let them try to shake your spirit. But you walk in grace. You stand in control. And you remember, emotional reactions give power to the wrong people. Let me tell you something that's going to sound strange at first. Pain ain't your enemy. Pain is a teacher. It's a mirror. It's a test. But hear me on this. Pain is not a verdict. Just because you're hurting don't mean you're broken. Just because you crying don't mean you lost. Just because it looks like you're at the bottom doesn't mean that's where you stay. That pain, that ain't your final destination. It's just part of the process. See, we got this habit of thinking pain is punishment. We go through something hard and we start asking, why me? Like God's picking on us, like life done singled us out for misery. But listen, pain don't come to destroy you. It comes to develop you. You don't grow in comfort. You grow when things stretch you. You grow when stuff don't go your way and you still show up. You grow when the people you love the hardest are the ones who cut you to the deepest, and somehow you keep loving anyway. You know, I used to think if I was hurt, something was wrong with me. I thought maybe I ain't strong enough. Maybe I'm weak. Maybe I missed the mark. But then I realized, no. That pain, that was God's way of strengthening what needed to get stronger. That was life's way of saying, you too comfortable in this place, it's time to level up. You don't pass a test by running from it. You pass a test by going through it. And some of y'all are going through things right now that feel like the end. You sitting there thinking, how am I going to bounce back from this? Baby, what if I told you this ain't the end at all? It's the setup. What if I told you this pain is not a life sentence? It's a classroom. God's not trying to punish you. He's trying to prepare you for something bigger, for something greater, for a future that needs a tougher version of you. Now, here's what makes pain tricky. It don't come with a warning label. It don't knock on the door like, hi, I'm here to grow you. No, it shows up uninvited. It walks in wearing betrayal, wearing loss, wearing heartbreak, wearing disappointment. And you look at it like, what is this mess? But deep inside, if you can hold on, if you can keep walking, even when it don't make sense, that pain will shape you into someone you ain't even recognized before. You ever see somebody who's been through hell and still smile? That ain't fate. That's strength. That's someone who figured out that pain didn't define them, it refined them. They learned the lesson, they passed the test, and now they walk in rooms with peace, with joy, with a kind of glow you can't buy at the store. That's the kind of person pain produces, if you let it. But here's the problem. Some of y'all taking pain like it's a verdict. You think, well, if they left me, I must not be worthy. If I lost that job, I must be cursed. No, that ain't the truth. That's the lie the pain wants you to believe. But the real truth is this: just because it hurt don't mean it was the end. Sometimes it had to hurt so you could wake up. Sometimes the break had to happen so the blessing could find room. Sometimes the storm had to come to wash away what you couldn't let go of on your own. I know it's hard. I know it don't feel fair, but if you hold on, if you stay grounded, if you trust that this pain is a season, not a sentence, you're going to come out of it better, stronger, wiser. And one day you're going to look back on what broke you and realize it actually built you. Because pain, it's a test, but it ain't never, ever the final word. Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. Just because you don't say nothing doesn't mean you're weak. Matter of fact, most of the time, silence is the loudest sign of strength. We live in a world where everybody want to clap back, talk slick, say something smart every time somebody disrespects them. Folks think if you ain't loud, you ain't strong. If you don't respond, you scared. But let me clear that up right now. Silence ain't weakness. Silence is control. You know what's real easy? Popping off, reacting, letting your mouth do something your future gonna have to pay for. Anybody can do that. That don't take no strength. What's hard, what's powerful is biting your tongue when you know you could shut somebody down. It's choosing not to speak even when your pride is begging you to go off. That's power. That's discipline. That's leadership. That's God saying to your spirit, I'm growing you. Don't mess it up with noise. See, silence is a tool for the wise. It ain't that you don't know what to say. It's that you know saying it ain't gonna fix a thing. It might feel good in the moment, sure, you get that little rush, that little satisfaction, but what did it solve? What did it build? Nothing. Most of the time when folks come at you, they looking for attention. They want the show. They want the drama. But when you hit them with silence, you starve their ego. You take the spotlight off the nonsense and put it back where it belongs, on your peace. I remember the time somebody came at me sideways, real bold, said some things that wasn't just false, they were disrespectful. And every part of me, every part of my flesh wanted to say something. I had the words ready, I had the heat loaded, but I felt God tap me on the shoulder and say, shh, this ain't your fight. Let me handle it. And you know what happened? I walked away, didn't say a word. And a few months later, that person's own actions caught up with them. My silence was louder than any insult I could have thrown. You see, when you stay silent, people don't know what you're thinking. You become unpredictable, unshakable. They can't pull you into their storm because you ain't even opening the door. You sitting in your peace like, I'm good over here. And that, my friend, is how you protect your energy. That's how you protect your name. That's how you protect your destiny. You ever notice the folks with the most to lose are the quietest in the room? That ain't by accident. That's wisdom. You don't see CEOs arguing on the internet. You don't see kings and queens yelling from the balcony. Why? Because they got too much to protect. They know every word they speak is an investment. So they don't waste them on foolishness. And if you're going to walk in royalty, if you're going to step into the fullness of what God's trying to do in your life, you're going to have to get comfortable with being quiet when everything in you wants to roar. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a time to speak, there's a time to stand, but if your first reaction is always your loudest one, you might be moving from ego, not wisdom. Sometimes the best way to win is not to play. Let them talk. Let them throw shade. Let them misunderstand you. That ain't your job to fix. Your job is to stay focused, stay grounded, and stay silent when silence is smarter. Because at the end of the day, silence don't mean you weak. It means you strong enough not to entertain nonsense. It means you trust God enough to fight battles you don't need to swing at. It means you got control not just over your mouth, but over your mind, your heart, and your future. Let me break something down for you real quick. Every reaction you have is a choice. It ain't an automatic. It ain't a reflex. It might feel like it, but it's not. You're not a robot. You're not some machine that just responds the same way every time somebody pushes your buttons. No, you got a mind, you got a heart, and more importantly, you got control. See, people will try to test you. Life will come at you fast. Somebody gonna lie on you. Somebody gonna disrespect you. Somebody gonna hit you where it hurts. And in that moment, your body might feel like it's ready to snap. But let me tell you, you still get to choose. You get to decide whether you're gonna act off your emotions or off your wisdom. You get to decide whether you're gonna keep your peace or throw it away just to get even. We live in a world that tells us if they go low, you go lower. If they hit, you hit back harder. Don't let nobody play with you. But let me tell you what real strength looks like. It's when you could react. You got every reason to react, and you still choose not to. That ain't weakness. That's power. That's self-control. That's growth. That's God working in you. Because it's easy to react out of anger. It's easy to cuss somebody out, post that shady comment, throw that slick remark. But it takes maturity to pause and say, is this worth it? You ever notice how much drama we invite into our lives just because we don't take a second to think before we respond? One bad reaction can mess up a whole year of progress. One angry text can destroy a relationship you actually valued. One outburst in the heat of the moment can close doors that were just about to open. That's how powerful your reactions are. They either build or they burn, and every single one of them is a decision you make. Don't ever let nobody tell you, I couldn't help it. Yes, you could. You just didn't want to. Now, I ain't saying you got to be perfect. I'm saying you got to be intentional. You got to learn how to breathe before you speak. You got to learn how to step back before you step up. Because sometimes silence is your best response. Sometimes peace is your greatest defense. And sometimes choosing not to react ain't about them. It's about you protecting the version of yourself you've worked so hard to become. There was a time in my life I used to pop off all the time. You said something slick. I had something slicker. You came at me sideways. I come at you with a curveball. But all that did was drain me. It kept me stuck in cycles of bitterness and stress. Then one day I realized I don't have to react. I don't have to respond to every attack. I don't have to defend myself every time somebody misunderstands me. My peace is too expensive for that. And yours is too. That energy you spend reacting, you could be using that to grow, to heal, to build, to rest. You don't need to fight every fire, especially the ones folks start just to see if they can drag you into the smoke. Let them deal with the heat. You rise above it. Because people going to say what they say, they're going to do what they do. But how you move, how you carry yourself in response, that's on you. That's your power. That's your responsibility. So next time life throws something at you, don't just react. Pause. Breathe. Choose. Because every reaction ain't just a moment, it's a message. A message about who you are, what you value, and where you're headed. And if where you're headed is greater, then let your reactions reflect that every single time. Let me talk to you for a second about something we all need to understand. Holding your peace don't mean you lost. In fact, it means you win it, just not in the way the world usually measures it. See, most folks out here think if you ain't loud, if you don't fight back, if you don't fire off that comeback, if you don't get the last word, then somehow you lost. That's a lie, a big one. You don't always win by swinging. Sometimes you win by standing in peace, standing in discipline, standing in maturity. Stand in silence when everything in you want to roar. I've learned in my life that the loudest one in the room usually the weakest one. They trying to prove something. They trying to protect their pride. But when you know who you are, when you know your worth, when you know the God you serve, baby, you ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. That's when you start winning different. That's when you start moving like royalty. You think kings and queens got time to argue with peasants at the gate? You think CEOs out here responding to every rumor, every insult, every online comment? No. They too focused on purpose to waste energy on pettiness. Holding your peace is a power move. It means you value your inner calm more than you value outside approval. It means you trust the process even when you don't understand the moment. It means you're wise enough to know that everything don't deserve your energy. And that right there, that's a win, because the devil don't need to destroy you if he can just distract you. And what better way to distract you than with nonsense that pulls you out of character and off your path? Now, I know it don't feel like winning in the moment. It feels like you letting folks slide. It feels like you letting them get away with it. It feels like you the one taking the hit. But let me tell you something. Life got a way of circling back around. People reap what they sow. You don't always see it right away. but it happens. And while they busy digging holes for you, God building mountains for you to climb. You don't need revenge when you got favor. You don't need to clap back when you're covered. I've had people lie on me, betray me, talk about me, smile in my face, and throw shade behind my back. And there were times I wanted to react. I wanted to let them have it. But I learned that every time I gave in to that, I lost a little bit of my own peace. I stepped out of my purpose just to get even with somebody who wasn't even worth the conversation. So I made a decision. I'd rather be at peace than be right. I'd rather sleep well than scream loud. I'd rather trust God to handle it than mess up my own blessing trying to fix it myself. You see, winning different means you don't need an audience to validate your strength. You don't need a stage to prove your character. You just keep walking in integrity. You keep showing up with love. You keep choosing peace even when war is more available. And eventually folks gonna see the difference. They're gonna see that your silence wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. That your restraint wasn't fear, it was faith. That your peace wasn't passive, it was powerful. So the next time you feel tempted to step out of character just to prove you strong, pause, breathe, remember who you are. Remember what you carry, and remind yourself that just because you quiet don't mean you lost. You just winning on a higher level. You just winning differently. Let me give you a piece of advice that'll save you a whole lot of time, energy, and heartache. Stop letting your emotions do all the talking. I know that's hard. I know when somebody hurts you, talks bad about you, makes you feel small, your first instinct is to say something, clap back, set the record straight. But that kind of response might feel good for a minute. And then what? What you got? You still got the problem, but now you done gave your peace away in the process. Now let me flip the script on you. What if you didn't say a word? What if you kept your mouth closed and your spirit calm? What if you let your success speak instead? Because I'm telling you right now, nothing silences doubt, hate, and disrespect like elevation. When you rise, when you level up, when you keep on shining while they keep on talking, that's the kind of answer that don't need no punctuation, no mic drop, no headline. It just speaks for itself. See, folks will try to pull you into their mess because they don't want you to rise. Misery loves company and drama needs an audience. But when you stop reacting emotionally to every little thing and you start focusing on your goals, your growth, your greatness, that's when you become unstoppable. Let them talk, let them doubt you, let them throw shade. Just make sure you stay on your path. Keep building, keep climbing, keep growing. Let your work, your grind, your fruit, let that do the talking. You know why that's so powerful? Because success don't lie. Results don't lie. You can argue with somebody's opinion all day long, but you can't argue with their results. You can't deny a glow up. You can't dismiss favor when it's falling all over somebody's life. So don't waste your words trying to convince people who already made up their minds about you. Let your life be the proof. Let your blessing be the evidence. Let your harvest be the response. And this ain't just about money or fame. Success comes in many forms. Peace is success. Joy is success. Healing is success. Growth is success. Some of y'all ain't where you want to be yet, but you're not where you used to be either. And that right there is victory. That's progress. That's God moving. And if you stay focused and keep your head down, eventually everybody who ever doubted, you're going to have to look up just to see where God brought you. But you got to make that choice. You got to decide, I'm not going to lead with my feelings. I'm going to lead with my purpose. Because emotions come and go. One day you up, next day you frustrated. One moment you strong, next minute you feel like breaking. That's human. But if you let that be the driver of your decisions, you're going to crash every time. Let your mission lead. Let your calling lead. Let your future lead, and trust that the noise going to fade, but your progress going to last. You ever seen a lion react to a barking dog? No, that lion keep walking, not because it's scared, because it knows who it is. Some of y'all need to remember, you the lion in the room. You ain't got time to explain yourself to every bark that comes your way. Just keep moving, keep building, keep stepping into the version of you that don't need validation, just vision. So hold your emotions. Don't suppress them. Master them. And instead of trying to win every argument, every battle, every moment, start winning with your results. Start letting your life talk louder than your lips. Because when your success starts speaking, nobody can talk over that.